Ladies, we discussed what is quiet power. Can Black women operate in it? Of course, the answer is yes. You must be intentional. Now, we are going to discuss how to cultivate this quiet power. Have you ever been in a place where there is discussions going? Maybe there's a little bit of conflict, a little bit of debate, and you see a person sitting quietly, very reserved. They're not shy, but you can tell that they're reserved. When that person opens up their mouth, the whole room stops to listen to what that person is saying. They are really good at reflective thinking, so they do not rush to speak. Okay. When you are a reflective person or a person with quiet power, aka reserved power is a better term, but we're going to stick with quiet power. It doesn't mean that you are dominating the conversation. Remember, this quiet power is felt, it is not heard or seen. You feel it before the person can even speak. So you do not dominate the conversation, you guide it. Remember, you are reflecting as the person is talking. Another great skill set of a person who operates in their quiet power is that they have a great understanding of emotional intelligence. While the person is speaking, they can discern and they can keen in on different emotions that is not being said while the person is talking, but it is being felt, and they have a great discernment on whether the person is hiding that anger. They can look at their body language. They can understand the words that they are choosing to say. They can understand what is not being said. Again, they have great mental agility. They think and speak with precision. So you have to be a person who understands emotional intelligence. Now, with that being said, you are a person who can control your emotions. You are not a robot. You have emotions, but you know how to control them. And you understand that you can feel emotions in the appropriate setting when the time is right for that emotion. Remember, I am speaking of quiet power, a person with reserved authority, reserved power, and they are in leadership. You can use this in your everyday life as well. I practice this all the time. When I crossed the age of 50, I am now 51, I understood that I operate in quiet power. A lot of my friends, sister friends, and people that know me, I didn't even know they thought this about me, but one of the nicknames that my husband gives me is Secret Weapon or a quiet storm. That is what most people describe me as, a quiet storm. I am not a person of many words. When I go to a party, a get together, a function, a conference, I like to observe. Now, I am an extrovert, meaning I like to mingle and get around. But when I get into a new environment, I like to sit and observe. It doesn't mean I'm shy, it means I'm very reserved because I want to make sure that I understand where I am. Person with quiet power, because they reflect, because they understand emotional intelligence, they are able to de escalate conflicts, debates, unnecessary arguments. They are great and skilled at doing that. Speaking of that, speaking of debating and unnecessary arguments, a person with quiet power does not engage in needless debates, unnecessary arguments. Remember, they have great mental agility. All right. So if their words carry weight and they are not speaking much or dominating the conversation, they are guiding it. Why would you engage in debates that are unnecessary? You save your words, right? Because your words have power, they have meaning. You are a person who builds and brings people together. You problem solve, you de escalate conflict. So, why would you engage in needless debates? And that is what I mean by a power struggle. If you find yourself, oh, honey, you ain't gonna talk to me like that because you've already lost the battle. All right, so remember that. I know that's hard, especially living in North America, because people can cross boundaries. That leads me to my next point. A person with emotional intelligence, they have emotions, they get angry. So when you make a person who has this reserved authority angry, the room is going to feel it, the neighborhood is going to feel it. It's just an energy, and everybody backs up, and people know that they have done something wrong. They have crossed the line, they have crossed the boundary. All right. And you have the right to get upset, especially if people keep crossing that boundary. Then when you speak and you get angry, everybody's going to listen and everybody backs up because you are calm, you are steady, you are poised at all times because you are a person with reserved authority. However, people will try you. And you have the right to be aggressive. So you are always assertive, you are always firm in your leadership, whether it's at church, a congregation, at home, right? Wherever you are in leadership. Even if you are a stay at home mom, you are in leadership, all right? So when people cross that boundary, you have a right to get upset and to be a little bit aggressive, right? So, assertive and firm, always aggressive, no. But there is a time and a place for aggression, and that's to get people to back up and go back across that boundary where they're supposed to be, all right, and do not cross it again. And people will respect a person with quiet power when they get angry. They are not just popping off for no reason. Well, I hope this information is helping you to cultivate your quiet power. If you want to learn how to be assertive and firm versus being aggressive, please comment below. However, the next video will be the power of the pause. Why it's important for us to understand how to pause when we want to operate in quiet power. All right. The best leaders, they do not respond right away all the time. You pause. Why is that powerful? All right, we're going to discuss that in the next video. All right, so until then, take care, lovely ladies, and we will talk soon.